You're tuned in to Labora-Story, presented by Theater Lab. Labora-Story is a monthly radio play podcast featuring scripts by St. Louis writers, acted by St. Louis actors, and directed by artistic producing director Ryan Scott Foizey and associate director Jason Klefisch. With new stories to tune into on the 13th of every month, you're at the intersection of nostalgic radio plays and the future of podcasts. Labora-Story, theatrics for your ears.
Welcome back to Labora-Story's Friday the 13th episode. You know, with us releasing an episode on the 13th of every month, it was only a matter of time before we reached a Friday the 13th. However, it was a happy accident that it was this episode in particular that landed on it. For those of you who have been following us, you know that this is actually the second to last episode to make up Labora-Story Season 1 already. It's crazy to think that much time has passed already, but it's been a thrill. It's been a blast. And this episode in particular holds a very special spot for us. This episode actually made its debut on stage 2 years ago, December 2014, at the 24-Hour Play Festival. Jason Klefisch wrote this script. For those of you familiar with the 24-Hour Play Festival, you know that the writers get assigned certain things that allow for them to structure their content. So they get assigned a setting, they get assigned a genre, how many men and women they write for. In this particular 24-Hour Play Festival, we assigned them a seasonal prop that they had to incorporate in their script. So to give you a little background, Jason's assignment was that he had to write a thriller for 3 men that took place in a bar, and the prop that he had to incorporate was a snow shovel. I'm not going to delay any further. You really should enjoy this episode. I know that I have. I've listened to it 100 times, and also I've seen the video on YouTube. If you would like to see the video after you listen to this episode, you can just go to YouTube and type in Cringe Theater Lab in the search bar, and you'll be able to see it live and in action on stage. Stick around at the end of the episode, and I'll tell you who's who in the cast. So without further ado, enjoy this Friday the 13th episode, written by Jason Klefisch. This is Cringe.
Another drink?
Sure, why not? Reload.
Okay, soldier. Same glass?
Come again?
Do you mind if I just refill the glass you were already using?
A fresh glass would be nice. Thank you.
Well, it ain't fresh, but it certainly is another glass I'll have to clean later.
Tell me, Tully, how long have you been running Tully's Tavern?
Well, first it was my old man's, then he died. Then my older sister and her husband ran it for a few years. Then came their divorce in 2006, and I took it over for her after that. So, about 9 years now.
Well, I must tell you that as a first-time patron of your establishment, I am very much a fan of the crowd.
There ain't no one in here.
Yep. Okay.
Evening, Peter.
Evening, Tully. Evening, friend.
Good evening.
Tully, you might be the only business that went through the trouble of shoveling the snow out front.
Well, I nearly busted my ass shoveling that walk, but nevertheless, happy to oblige. Although I must admit to a certain sick pleasure that when I don't shovel the walk, I enjoy watching patrons slip and slide their way in here. But maybe that ain't sick at all. Maybe that's just human nature.
To want to see people get hurt?
Nah, to watch people fall on their ass. It's funny to me.
Tully, you are a certain kind of man.
I'm the only kind of man.
I'll drink to that. Tully and Jameson. My name is Peter, friend.
Hey, I'm Lee.
To Tully and his tavern tales of old.
Tavern tales, eh? Well, I imagine that you've got a few of those.
More jokes than tales to tell. Besides, jokes always end better than the stories that unfold within these four walls.
Well, do not deny your sole patrons the pleasure. Tell us one of your jokes, Tully.
All right, I guess I can give you a few vulgar words to meditate on. A young guy walks into a bar. An old drunk sits with a shoebox on the stool next to him. The guy asks, "What's in the box?" The older guy says matter-of-factly, "A South American blowjob toad." The young guy looks around. "Can I try it?" The older guy nods. The young guy goes to the men's room and returns 20 minutes later. "That was amazing," he says. "You've got to sell it to me." The old drunk concedes to sell the toad for a hefty sum. The happy young man struts home and meets his wife at the door. "Where the hell have you been? What's in the box?" she demands. "South American blowjob toad." "So?" asks the wife. "So, teach it to cook and get the fuck out." Gentlemen, I'll leave you to your vices. Believe it or not, I've got work to do.
To men like us, to men of our nature.
Nature? What nature is that?
You know, men of our nature. We're men about town. Men prowling the twilight for Lady Luck. Arr.
Speak for yourself. I need not prowl.
Hey, don't be so quick to distance yourself from a stranger.
I'm sorry, I meant no offense.
I mean no offense. But the only reason a man comes out in a winter storm like this, dressed like that, in a place like this, is for a girl.
She's probably just stuck in this snowstorm. Weather cares not for punctuality.
Woohoo, man! You got away with words.
Well,
You are a wordsmith. you got away with words. Now, I can tell.
Why, thank you.
So this lucky lady got a name? Come on, man. She's got you waiting here. At least you could do is talk about her. Now, does doth lady haveth a nameth?
Yes, her name is Beth. Elizabeth. But she prefers Beth.
Elizabeth. That's a beautiful name. Mm-hmm. Tully, another drink.
Same glass?
You know it.
Atta boy. Here you go, Peter.
Back at you, babe.
Okay.
Whoa, you're certainly drinking with a purpose tonight.
You better believe it. Now this drink of yours, this can no longer be ignored.
It's Tully? What's the name of this drink again?
Well, that there is an adios motherfucker.
Yes! That's it.
An adios motherfucker now. What is that, Tully?
Oh, got a little bit of everything, hence the
Adios,
motherfucker.
motherfucker.
I get it. So what's your lady like?
Well, actually, tonight is our first date, so...
First date? You're bringing her to Tully's Tavern? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Tully. You know that I love this dive. But goddamn, this is no place for a first date.
Actually, she requested we meet here. She said her and her girlfriends always come here.
So you got yourself a potty girl.
No, she's nothing of the sort. But I will say, she is, it's pretty wild.
Ooh, shit! Lee likes to get freaky. But whoa, wait. I thought you said that this was your first date. How do you know if the woman is wild if you haven't even been on a date with her?
Well, we did meet online.
Oh, so when you say that she's wild, you mean that webcam and shutter chat, that kind of stuff? Yeah, well, hey, man, it's the modern age. I mean, who's to say what works, really?
That's exactly what I said.
Although the whole online dating thing, that can be a little taboo.
Taboo? You ain't kidding.
Well, I hate to break it to you there, Lee, but it looks like your gal, she ain't gonna make it.
How's that now?
Beth, she's not gonna make it tonight.
Time will tell.
No, pal. I'm telling you, she ain't coming. But hell, while you're waiting. Why don't we sit at this table and throw back a few?
No thanks. I think I'll just wait here.
Lee, take a seat with me and let's have a drink about it.
I appreciate the notion that you think you're giving me some sage advice, but I am just fine waiting here for her. Besides, she wouldn't miss our first meeting. She wouldn't miss tonight.
You're pretty confident about a woman you've never met.
Yeah, well, you don't know her.
I know that she's only 16 years old.
Excuse me?
I said that I know Elizabeth, or Beth, is only 16 years old. She's my 16-year-old daughter. Now I asked you to sit at the table with me.
Sir, listen, I think that you misunderstood
Lee.
when I... Yes, sir?
Sit the fuck down.
At the table?
At the table.
You all good, Pete?
Oh, not yet, brother. But I will be.
So, you're not drunk?
No. Not yet. But I'm working my way up to it. Before we get things started, I want you to know that I just learned about you 2 days ago. About you and my daughter. All your online correspondence leading up until 2 days ago was in fact with my daughter. My underaged daughter. But the last 2 days that you've been digitally swinging dick, well, that was me you were talking to.
Sir, you're mistaken. I can explain all of this,
Lee, every man who has ever sat in your position has probably said those exact same words. And it's you who is mistaken. Your words got you in that seat at this table, but they won't get you out of it.
I am very uncomfortable with this. I would like to leave now.
Lee, do yourself a huge favor and do not cling to the notion that you have a choice in how the rest of this evening plays out. Now, please, sit. Good. Now, as I was saying, I only got a chance to talk to you these last 2 days. That's how I was able to convince you that Beth had a fake ID and that this bar was the ideal place for you two to meet. You know, it's kind of funny.
How's that?
Well, I just spent the last 2 sleepless nights thinking about this moment. And how I thought you were a monster for all the things you wrote to her. I interpreted you to be a monster for all those despicable things you wrote to my little girl. And now that I have you here, now that I see you, I see that you're not a monster at all. Not much of anything, as far as I could see. Kind of funny, is all. Look at you. You look like a dog who just shit the floor.
You call me a monster to separate yourself from me. And you paint me as some vampire in the night because it's easier to see a monster than to see vulnerability. Or to see that what Beth and I shared is something genuine.
Lee! Let's get something straight. You can talk, but you are not to say fuck all about whatever it is you think you shared with my daughter. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, Lee, I want you to know how I came to find that man that was preying on my daughter. You see, I came home from work a few nights ago to find my 16-year-old daughter crying in her bedroom. There she was, shaking and sobbing, huddled in a corner like she had just witnessed the most horrific car accident you could imagine. I asked her to tell me what's wrong. I begged her, but she can't stop crying. Then the tears take a break, and she reveals to me that she is overwhelmed with regret. She tells me about her special friend, Lee. She tells me how Lee reached out to her on Facebook, and how Lee thought she really had what it takes to be a model. Lee feeds her sentiments of putting this town in her rearview mirror, and Lee tells her everything that an insecure 16-year-old girl wants to hear. And in time, Lee convinces her to pose for some photos. And in these photos...
Please, I never... Please, that's enough.
Oh, Lee, you haven't had nearly enough.
But you want to hear about what I would do to your daughter?
I want to hear you beg for your life.
Excuse me?
I'm amused that you would think this encounter would end any other way. You seeked out my 16-year-old daughter. You played with her mind until it fit your liking. And then you convinced her to expose herself? And after that, you tried to meet her? You crossed so many lines, and you didn't flinch until now. That's not regret. That's self-preservation.
If you want to contact the police, then I invite you to do so. But this charade has lasted long enough.
No! No, that will not suffice! You don't fear the right hand of the law. You see, unlike my daughter, I looked into you. You have got a background, charges, even parole time. No, the threat of prison is not enough. Men like you don't stop. It's not in your nature to cease depravity. And I need you to understand that you can never cross that line again. I need you to be looking over your shoulder for the rest of your borrowed time.
Borrowed time? I mean, you threaten me. What, you can beat me down in a bar? I never touched her. You would deny me my day in court?
I would deny you anything that I see to be so fucking fit.
I think I've heard enough. I never touched her!
Be glad you didn't! From what I read in your messages, Elizabeth didn't tell you much about her family. She didn't tell you about her brother Aaron, did she?
No.
Elizabeth had a younger brother named Aaron, my youngest. When Aaron was 7, he was at the mall with his mother and I, and Aaron used to play this game in the stores, where he would hide in the clothing racks and then he would jump out and scare people. It was harmless and at times pretty damn cute. It always seemed to get a laugh from the store clerks. So anyway, we're at the mall and Aaron runs off to play his little hide-and-seek game. Only this time, we can't find Aaron. I start yelling out his name, right? Instant panic. So we're looking, my wife and I, and we're frantically searching the store for Aaron. And at this point, even the staff is involved. All of us just tossing this department store, looking for my son. And then the night came. And that fear, that sinking, gut-wrenching fear. I was crushed. To suffer that kind of loss, the loss of a child, it's unlike anything you can imagine. As the months went on without Aaron, and the cops started drawing back their searches, that's when I knew. I really knew that Aaron was gone. Not long after that, my wife left. Her and I just couldn't make sense of what was left of us, and I couldn't blame her, so then she was gone too. And it was just me and Elizabeth. Beth. Just the two of us. With no Aaron. No mother. No answers for all that we had lost.
I don't know what to say.
I tell that story because two things came out of losing my son that day. One was a very vulnerable, very fragile young woman, my daughter. And the second thing was a father who had to make a promise to himself that he would protect his daughter at any cost. At any cost. And now, you're at my door. And what am I to do about the one I love? I promised protection at any cost.
Listen, I am sorry for what happened to your son, but I can't stay here. And if you like to press charges, then I suppose. Excuse me, Tully. Excuse me. I would like to close out my tab, please.
Oh, goddamn. Oh, my bad. There's another little story I need to tell you, Lee. Tully here. Tully is my brother-in-law. Former brother-in-law, to be exact. Which makes him Elizabeth's Uncle Tully. Now, Tully here, he's going to take that snow shovel over there, and he's going to beat the hell out of you with it.
Please, listen.
No, listen. I'm going to sit here and enjoy every goddamn minute of it.
No. Please, no, listen. You don't have to do this. You have a choice.
So did you.
No, please!
Adios, motherfucker!
Please!
That was Cringe, written by Jason Klefisch. Peter was played by Nick Kelly, Lee by Paul Cereghino, and Tully by Matt Pentecost. Fun fact about that script, Jason Klefisch actually won the award for Best Writer for that 24-hour play festival for that script, as well as Nick Kelly for Best Actor. I want to give a couple of shout outs and thanks. First, thank you to Leaping Lizards once again for lending us your space. They're always so helpful and so generous when it comes to Labora-Story, so thank you for that. We'd also like to thank Victoria Valentine, who was onboarded as Theater Lab's new production assistant. She was onboarded to Theater Lab right toward the tail end of producing this episode, and she was really eager, and she hopped at the chance, hit the ground running, and was able to make sure that we had all of our loose ends tied up. So thank you, Victoria. We're happy to have you and looking forward to working with you in the future. That episode was directed by myself and Jason Klefisch, and the sound engineer, as always, is the brilliant William Locke. Be sure to tune in next month on June 13th, as that's going to be our final episode for Season 1. But just for Season 1. We're going to be back again for Season 2. We just need to take a few months to recalibrate. What we'd like to do is restructure Season 2 so that it features more of our St. Louis talent. We want to make sure that, especially, we're giving more exposure to our St. Louis writers. So we're going to take about a 3-month hiatus, and then we're going to start up with Season 2 again in 2017. So be sure to mark it on your calendars. Next month, June 13th, Labora-Story's finale for Season 1. I'm not going to spoil it for you, you'll just have to tune in. Thanks for listening. Until next time.
You've been listening to Labora-Story, presented by Theater Lab. Theatrics for your ears. We'll have more for you on the 13th of every month. In the meantime, keep up with Theater Lab at facebook.com/TheaterLabSTL or visit www.theaterlabstl.com for more Labora Stories. Until next time.